Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Shiksha Mantra. And it's a long time that we shut ourselves apart. Actually, I was undergoing through some trouble in my throat. It was very difficult for me to talk to. That's why I failed to go live or to put any video in my channel for a longer time. But whatever it may be, it's almost over. The trance is over. Probably, I don't know because it's very difficult to say anything in advance regarding our health. But I'll try to stay connected from now on, whatever it may be. So, probably you have checked the title. What's the topic we have chosen today for this live session? Most of the time, you find English grammar and particularly learning English grammar properly quite bit uh, difficult. Some students find it harder. But believe me, dear students, it's not hard at all. There's nothing tough in learning English grammar. You can do it very efficiently, but you have to remember something. So today I'm going to discuss about this. If you have any question, you may ask it in the comment section. I'm live and I can answer. I'll try my best to answer your queries. So let's begin our discussion of the easy process of learning English grammar. So why do we find it difficult? That's the first thing that we must discuss and we must understand. Actually, whenever we learn something, it's understanding. We must understand the things properly first. And what to understand? The understanding means what you are going to learn, what is your target, and what you want to achieve. Look, dear students, you have to make it clear first. What's your goal? Why are you learning English? If it's regarding your uh, spoken English, if you want to make your English speaking skill or communicative skill stronger, you need a different grammar. Your focus towards English grammar must be different. But if you are a student, if you want to learn this for academic purposes, obviously your learning procedure would be much keen. You must learn it in a different manner. So here today we are going to discuss about what we have to do when we want to learn English grammar for academic purposes. So academic is our goal today. So what do you want? You want to learn the English grammar. But remember one word. This is the first word for this live. This is the first point. And what's that? You must learn English grammar as a package. Most of the students make the mistake here. They consider English grammar not as a package, but only as a group of chapters. They consider some chapters. I have to learn parts of speech. I have to learn tenses, narration change, voice change, and also, if it's possible, I would remember some phrases, and that's it. I would make my skill in English grammar. If that was sufficient, just tell me if it's sufficient. Why the grammar books have provided so many different chapters for you? Why the book asks you to learn so many things. If some chapters are sufficient to gather that skill, so they have some purpose. Na? You must learn English grammar as a package. That means you must learn each and everything present in English language. So, these components of English grammar are actually very much interlinked to each other. Most of the time, we fail to get to it. We don't consider it as a step by step journey. We don't consider it as a journey where I have to cross each and every milestone to reach my goal. Suppose you are on a journey from uh, Delhi to Mumbai. You know how much distance it is it, and if you calculate the distance, you know how many milestones you would have to cross. So after each and every kilometer, you'd find one milestone that would tell you how much distance left. No, it doesn't tell you how much distance are still there to cover. Rather, it's better to consider that it would tell you how many milestones you are going to find next, and it would start getting down. Suppose uh, uh, your journey is 600 kilometers, that means you'd find 600 milestones. Probably not, probably one or two less, because you might start your journey after covering one milestone, and your journey might get end before a particular milestone. So round 600, it may be 599 or 598, so whatever it may be. So when you cross one, it means there's 599 left. 2, 598. 3, 597. So the number would get lesser with each and every milestone that you fish. The same thing happens when you learn English grammar as a package. It doesn't overburden you. Most of the time, you make this consideration. You consider, if I have to learn so many chapters in English grammar, I'd get burdened. It's really a burden to learn so many chapters. So why to learn all the chapters in detail? Rather, I can choose some chapters, and from those choices, I would learn what I have to, and I would decide what to drop. So you don't learn everything then because you think that you are overburdened. No, that's not the actual considerations. When you proceed further, your burden gets lessened. When you secure your learning of alphabet, one chapter, one particular knowledge to gather, to acquire about English grammar is over. So, this is the consideration. That's how you have to learn each and every chapter properly with proper focus. Now, what to keep into focus? I have found so many students, they actually mark their book with black and red and blue, sometimes with fluorescent highlighter pens, and they prepare only those marked areas. If you have been provided 5 examples for a certain definition, you would remember only one. There lies the problem. You never consider it as a complete package. It's like you are there to you are there in a dinner party, and their 4 score dinner has been offered, and you have decided that you'd start with the dessert. You won't try the fish fry or the chicken pakora or paneer pasinda, but you'd start by trying the dessert items: rasgulla, hot gulab jamun, bundi ka raita. Is it possible? If it's possible, it is obviously going to have some adverse effect on your health. And the same thing happens for your learning of English grammar. When you don't learn it as a package, it puts some adverse effect on the health of your education, on the health of your learning. So, what do you have to? You have to learn them step by step with focus on each and every component. Don't think that you have learned everything about parts of speech because you know how many types of parts of speech are there. So it shift to tense. No, you have to learn each and every component of parts of speech. Now I'm nagging over the word learn, 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 learn for so many times. But are you sure you know what learning is? There lies the problem as well. Most of the time, we try to find out what learning is, but most of the time, we leave it in the middle and we fail to learn what we have to learn. So, how is it? You are trying to learn English grammar and you haven't properly learned what is our say vowel and what is consonant. Why? Because you know you've learned it in childhood. You would say in the primary classes when I was just a child, I've learned vowels and consonants. I know a, e, I, o, u. These are the vowels, and the rest are the consonant, and also the semi-vowel. W and Y are considered as semi-vowel. I know all of them. So why should I learn them once again? Yes, dear friends, you have learned it. Yes, my dear children. Yes, my dear students, you have learned it. I don't have any confusion that you haven't learned it. I know you have learned it and learned it well. But your learning of vowels and consonant doesn't end here. It proceeds further. As a grown up, you'd explore more than what you have learned, what you have explored as a child. So you must revise this from several books. You must try to find out if there's something added. Because as a child, you weren't taught them in detail. They have been provided only the touch. Have you learned A, E, I, O, U? These are but letters which represent a vowel, but there are vowel sounds. When you use them in practical English, you don't use A, E, I, O, U. Rather, you use a, a, e, u, e, oo. You use these sounds. These are also vowels, but vowel sounds. So, digital learning is very much important, dear. You have to learn them. You have to explore them. And that's my second point. You have to learn everything as a package. You can't leave anything. You have to take a book, any grammar book, choose it as per your level. Choose it as per your the book completely. Don't leave anything as unimportant because everything is important. So this is the first point I have to discuss. Discussed about learning, and how to learn. That's my second point. So when you secure one chapter, your task gets lessened. So you are not going to find English grammar tough when you secure the basic chapters first. But you must learn everything without making any choice of important and unimportant things. So this is the first part of our consideration. There comes the second part. When you learn the basic chapters, that means you have secured something. But how to use those secured platforms in your further learning? Yes, dear friends, when you are going to learn verbs, you have learned the different types of verbs, but I won't go into the details. I'd choose only verbs and verbals. You have learned verbs. Now you have shifted to verbals. Infinitive, gerund, participle. Now what you do? The learning of verbs is actually your secured platform. So when you are learning verbals, you must keep the verbs in mind. You have to relate verbals with verb, with noun, with adjectives, and also the construction of ing, the root form, the base form of the verb, and how the form changes, how the sense changes as well. So that's how you have to use your basic concept with the learning of your advanced chapters. You may consider some chapters in English grammar as advanced chapters because clause is an advanced chapter. Without proper knowledge of parts of speech, you can't learn phrase. Without knowledge of parts of speech and phrase, you can't learn clauses. Without the knowledge of clauses, you can't learn joining sentences. You can't manage a sentence or a longer sentence with many verbs or many sentences, perhaps. So that's how you have to secure your learning. That's how you are going to find English easy. Because if you haven't learned a word properly, how are you going to learn verbals? How do you learn tense? Because tense is totally related to verbs. Without learning verbs properly, without learning all the components of verbs and verb phrases, how could you learn tense properly? Without learning verbs and tense and parts of speech and subject and pronouns and nouns, object, cases, how can you learn voice change? Even the types of sentences are also an important factor there. Without learning them properly, how can you learn direct, indirect speech? And how could you learn analysis? How could you analyze a sentence without a proper knowledge, without sound knowledge of each and every component of English grammar? Try to analyze a sentence grammatically, and you'd find out where are your lacks. If you have learned a lot, still you find it tough, still you find that English grammar is not easy for you, still you actually suffer in some portion, in some parts of English grammar, I can provide you a litmus paper with which you can find out the acidity or the alkalinity of your English learning, grammar learning. So what would you do? You'd take a sentence and try to analyze this sentence, all the components structurally, and also there put your sense to find out the vocabulary and what lies in the sense of the words, and you'd find it as a complete package. Then shift to longer sentences and all the problems that you have in your learning in English grammar Whatever you have left as unimportant, you'd find them into your scanner. You could detect where lies the problem, and you'd find by solving those issues that English grammar is easy if it's learned as a complete package. So that's all, dear students. That's all, my honored subscribers. Today, we are going to close this session here, and we are very soon returning with a fresh video. Probably it won't be on English grammar, it might be on hobby. So let's wait and see what's waiting for us in our next presentation. Until then, tata, goodbye, good night.